Discovery's computer is now controlling. Booster hydraulic units have now been started, and a final steering check of the engine nozzles of the SRBs is underway. Sound suppression water system has started. T-minus 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7. Go for main engine start. 3 main engines up and burning. 3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff of the Space Shuttle Discovery and the Upper Atmosphere Research Satellite, opening a new era studying the Earth's environment from space.
Roger, roll, Discovery.
Mission Control Houston now controlling the flight of Discovery.
The STS-48 was a space shuttle mission that launched on September 12, 1991, from Kennedy Space Center, Florida. The orbiter was Space Shuttle Discovery. The primary payload was the Upper Atmosphere Research Satellite. The mission landed on September 18 at 12:38 a.m. at Edwards Air Force Base on runway 22. The mission was completed in 81 revolutions of the Earth and traveled 2.2 million miles. The 5 astronauts carried out a number of experiments and deployed several satellites. This footage captured during NASA's STS-48 Space Shuttle Discovery orbital mission is described as one of the most bizarre and baffling UFO videos ever, and has sparked renewed debate in the online UFO and alien community. While in orbit at 2030 to 2045 Greenwich Mean Time, on September 15, 1991, cameras captured multiple bright UFOs that appeared to be flying under intelligent control. Although NASA suggested the UFOs were actually ice. James Oberg, former NASA employee who worked at the Johnson Space Center on the Space Shuttle program, suggested the objects were simply ice particles moving as the shuttle's thrusters fired and disrupted ice particles. Several researchers, including Mark Carlotto and Jack Kasher, have rejected the ice particle theory. Kasher, professor emeritus of physics at the University of Nebraska, suggested they could actually be UFOs, or more precisely extraterrestrial spacecraft. Acknowledging several alternative suggestions that have been offered, including the ice particle theory, tiny particles near the camera lens, meteors, satellites and space junk, Kasher wrote that the suggestion that the objects were flying spacecraft is a necessary conclusion if none of the other explanations holds up, since the main object clearly accelerated and moved above the Earth's airglow in the videotape. Thus, it would have been an intelligently directed craft that was above the atmosphere, that is, it would have been a spacecraft. As you can see, the UFOs move in a manner suggestive of intelligent control. One of the UFOs appears to move towards Earth. Where a flash occurs, the UFO changes direction abruptly, and zooms off at great speed. Mark J. Carlotto, an expert in satellite remote sensing and digital image processing, noted in a published analysis that the footage provides new insight into a number of unusual events captured by a camera aboard the Space Shuttle Columbia in 1996. In Carlotto's view, the footage shows phenomenon similar to certain ground-based sightings, and might represent the first observation of a new kind of atmospheric phenomenon in space. Carlotto rejected the ice particle theory, arguing that the movement of the objects does not support it. In the abstract of another paper titled Digital Video Analysis of Anomalous Space Objects, Carlotto wrote that analysis of the footage shows it is unlikely that the objects were ice particles disrupted as the shuttle's thrusters fired, since the attitude of the spacecraft does not change. The behavior of the objects is inconsistent with the thruster firing hypothesis, Carlotto wrote. For one of the objects known as the target, we show that the only hypothesis that is consistent with the data is that the object is at or near the physical horizon. We go on to show that several other objects in the video are clearly moving in circular arcs, and are thus likely to be relatively far away from the shuttle. At the end of the event, the shuttle's camera pans down to reveal a number of objects moving below the shuttle. One of the objects appears to have a definite structure consisting of 3 lobes arranged in a triangular pattern. Brian Todd O'Leary, an American scientist, author, and former NASA astronaut, in an interview said, "There is abundant evidence that we are being contacted, that civilizations have been visiting us for a very long time. That their appearance is bizarre from any kind of traditional materialistic Western point of view. That these visitors use the technologies of consciousness, they use droids, co-rotating magnetic disks for their propulsion systems. That seems to be a common denominator of the UFO phenomenon." Dozens of governments have declassified thousands of pages of UFO-related documents within the past few years. As a result, we've seen high-ranking military and political personnel step forward and share what they believe to be true. Not long ago, Canada's former Minister of National Defence said that there are at least 4 known alien species visiting our planet. Many NASA astronauts have expressed their belief that we are not alone, and that we are being visiting, and that many of these UFOs are indeed of extraterrestrial origin. The late Dr. Edgar Mitchell, the 6th man to walk on the moon, and founder of the Institute of Noetic Science, stated that he knows for sure that we are not alone, and that he was privileged enough to know that we are not alone.